Welcome back, and today we're going to be looking at the Schwarz Knives Overland Sport. And if you don't know who TJ Schwarz is, he makes some really cool designs. I first learned about him whenever I picked up this Millet Knives Torrent. This is his design right here, and I thought it was a super interesting, nice EDC folder. And he's done a lot of designs for CRKT. I think he's one of their main designers. This is the budget version of the Torrent. This is the Thero. And this was one that he released this year. This one right here is, where is it at? If I remember, I'll put the name up here of what this one is. But I actually like this one a good bit. And this folder right here is basically the folding version of this fixed blade. This is the CRKT Overland. They made the compact this year. I absolutely love the blade shape. The only thing is this one's in, I think it's in 8CR, 13 MOV, so, or yeah, pretty sure. And that's pretty underwhelming for me, so I didn't really carry this one all that much. But he has a Overland full-size model, and that one's a little bit too big for me to EDC, because I like EDC Fixed Blades, and the Overland Sport is a more pocket-sized EDC Fixed Blade. These knives are totally made in the U.S. in his small one-car garage in Idaho. That's awesome. I love seeing stuff like this. He does everything in-house besides heat treat and water jet, and he outsources that in the U.S. as well. So completely made in the U.S. That's always awesome to see, and I love supporting that kind of stuff. So it comes with this nice and robust Codex. Nice and thick, nice large drainage hole there. Tons of lashing points. These two holes right here fit the Ulti-Clip 2.2. And from here to here, I think it's like 1.5 inches. So I'm sure you could fit tons of different tech lock systems and stuff like that, soft loops, whatever you wanted to on this two-piece Codex sheath. You can customize this on his site, choose the color of your Codex. You can choose the color of the rivets, color of your handle scale material between Micarta and G10. It comes with the Ulti-Clip like that already installed. And let's check this out. So, nice positive click, absolutely no rattle. Nice little spot to push off on. Set that off to the side, and here it is. So this is a much more compact version, like he said, of his Overland model. This one's coming in at 6.6 inches, and for me, that's excellent. As long as I can get a 4-finger grip, that's all I really want on my EDC Fixed Blades. And this upward canted drop point or sheep's foot blade, whatever you want to call that, really excels on a lot of different cutting tasks. You can get it in coated or non-coated, two different colors, either in this black or a flat dark earth. I went with the black and the green canvas micarta. I thought it looked great. You have a nice and large sharpening choil there, so a bunch of room to sharpen this thing. It shouldn't widen up for a long time. Now, what I thought was exciting about this is this knife is in CPM Magna Cut steel, which that in itself isn't all that exciting because I have a lot of knives in Magna Cut, but this one's in Magna Cut. It's Rockwell to the proper hardness, 63-64, so you should get some really good edge retention out of this one. And behind the edge thickness on my particular one's around 10 thousandths. He said it ranges from 8 to 10 thousandths. That is excellent. And on top of that, it is 18 degrees per side. Now, this is a flat grind, so it will start to thicken up every time you sharpen it. My go-to edge bevel is either 18 to 17 degrees, just because I can be a little rough on my knives. I found that's a happy medium, the 18 to 17 degrees, and it's not a whopping bevel, as you can see. So this thing should perform how you'd want an EDC Fixed Blade to perform. Just like a folding knife, you know, it should perform really well. You have a row of jimping here. It is wide cut jimping. It's not super uncomfortable or anything, and I can overshoot it if I need to. But I will say that is one thing I wouldn't mind having fine cut jimping here, just because my hands are just beat up and that can be uncomfortable. But the coated blade helps it from being super sharp. There's his logo right there. And on Instagram, he goes by Knife Designer. Your blade length on this is 2.8 inches, and your grip area from here all the way to the back right here. Comes in at 3.8 inches, so you should be able to fit your medium to large hands fairly well. As you can see, my medium-sized hands, I'm not all the way on this back portion yet. You know, if you had large hands or you want to choke back up, you should be just fine. And if this one's too small for you, like I said, he has the regular Overland model. Now, I don't know about y'all, I'm ready to do some cutting. The knife came with a extremely good edge out of box, and that paired with the excellent edge geometry and excellent geometry on the primary bevel, I figured it would probably slice fairly well. So it being sharp was just icing on the cake. And being that this one is HRC to 6364, I figured we could test out that edge retention a little bit more, so I add 2 extra things of cardboard. You normally do 2, and I think it should easily be able to handle that, you know, being that this is, you know, more than likely a nice proper heat treat. I was a little bit worried that the tip going up like that would cause me to slide out of the cardboard during the cut. But with this size, I had no issues. Maybe if you were cutting a much larger piece of cardboard, you might tend to slide out of it toward the end, but no problem whatsoever. It was nice and comfortable in this light duty stuff. And yeah, I had the biggest smile on my face. There's nothing better than when a knife is just performing great, and this one was definitely doing so. So hopefully it'll keep it up. Hopefully it keeps that aggression all the way to the end, but we'll have to wait and see. Definitely satisfied at this point. Now we're going to test the ergos and see how well this edge wants to bite. And right away, it wanted to bite into this, I think it's birch right here that I'm cutting, and it was peeling it like an apple. Very, very good edge. It's nice and sticky. And I started increasing the pressure more and more, and it was very comfortable. No hot spots to speak of. I had a decent low grip, but being that the handle scales are a little thinner, it's coming in at 0.45 on the thickness. It may start to wear out your forearms and wrists if you did this for a long period of time. However, this wouldn't be, you know, what I would grab if I knew I was going to be doing this for a while. But so far, I'm definitely impressed. As you can see, I did have to raise my hand up a little bit higher to try to get that tip onto the cut, to try to make a drag cut. But everything else, this is going to perform flawless on a flat cutting surface. Nothing gave it any resistance whatsoever. Blasting through it, and you got to watch. I'm using that forward tip the majority of all this cutting right here, and so far it hasn't slowed down. When I got to the denim, it still felt like it had a lot of aggression to that edge, a lot of bite, and I'm just going through it so very fast, and I can't wait to see how it does on the sisal rope. Now we're at the 1/2 inch sisal rope, and notice how I got my pointer finger on the blade like that. The knife has to be very sharp to be able to do it like that, at least for me, because you got to stabilize the blade. You're pushing down into, you know, some fibrous material, so you got to, you know, if you you need to not have to push that very hard into it. And it was easily cutting through this rope, pretty much push cutting almost the entire way. Perfect blade shape for this type of work. And I am absolutely in awe on how well it's doing with this rope. Being that this is the last portion of the testing, I figured I would add more rope to the test just to kind of test out that magnet cut. And I have to say, I was testing another fixed blade, another EDC fixed blade and magnet cut alongside this one. And when I say this knife blew it out of the water by a long shot, it's unbelievable. And a lot of that has to do with the excellent blade geometry, edge geometry, and the high hardness. Without all that, it just performs okay. You know, I've tested other knives with not as good edge geometry and the same hardness, and it just did not perform like this one. We ended up making 160 cuts, 160. And I will say, I just ran out of rope, and the edge still felt really good. We'll test it once we get done with all this, but to say I'm impressed is just an understatement. And to know how much better it did than the other fixed blade is just ridiculous. But very, very happy with this one. And it's been a while since a knife has performed this good for me. So awesome job. After all that cutting, this thing still feels razor sharp. Razor sharp. Let's check it out. Okay. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I could hit this up on the strop and probably have it shaving hair again. Wow. That's how MagnaCut's supposed to be done. The ergos for me during all the cutting were good. Whenever I was doing the wood shaving, I did notice, it's a little bit thinner than I would like. It's like 0.44 or something like that. So I just felt like I was squeezing it a little bit tighter just to keep it sturdy in the hand. That said, it's a pocket fixed blade doing EDC tasks, so that didn't really bother me. It's just a very minor nitpick there. Super comfortable. I had no hot spots to speak of. You got nice contoured micarta, and it knocked off any hard edges where you wouldn't want them to be. Your micarta is just ever so slightly shadow boxed to the tang of the blade, as you can see, just meaning the tang sits up a little bit higher. But there is a bevel going all the way around to keep anything from being sharp or uncomfortable. These are bolt-on scales. Like I said, you can choose. I went with black on mine. I think you can go black or silver. Nice lanyard hole that's even got a little chamfer around that micarta on both sides. I like the little milling in here. And these, at first I thought that was just aesthetics right there, but for me at least, that's the excellent little pinch spot right there. If you need to do something like this or do some finesse cutting, very, very comfortable, and I can pinch that and get a nice solid grip. Now let's get some quick size comparisons. We have the CRKT Overland and the Ontario Rat Model 2. So as you can see, it's a good bit smaller than both of these. Next, we have the Essie Azula 1 and the Cold Steel Pendleton Mini Hunter. It's about identical in length to the Cold Steel Mini Pendleton Hunter. Next, we have the White River Backpacker and the Griffin Co. Scout 2.5. It's a little bit bigger than the Scout 2.5. Lastly, we have the Bradford Guardian 3 and the Artisan Cutlery Sea Snake. All right, now for my nitpicks and complaints. I kind of already talked about most of it. I would have much preferred fine cut jimping here, but like I said, being this is coated, it's not, unbearable or anything. And most of the stuff I'm doing with the EDC Fixed Blade is either slicing or cutting on a flat surface like that. So for all that, it's perfectly fine. And I'm kind of torn, I would probably rather a taco style sheath just to keep it slimmer. That said, being that you have this 2-port sheath that's a little bit wider, it sits flat up against the pocket. So it does ride a little bit better in the pocket. So, it's just a nitpick. I don't know. You wouldn't know. I wouldn't know until I had it. So I'm glad I had this one because it does carry very well in my pocket. So, is it a nitpick? It's up to you. And like I said, thicker scales would have been nice, but once again, this is a pocket fixed blade, and I like its compact nature. I was able to do everything rather easily. Nothing was painful, and I didn't get tired out for the cutting I did. And I amplified all the cutting a lot more on this one than any other MagnaCut knife that I've tested so far. So my final thoughts. I think these are $265 USA made, MagnaCut at a proper hardness, ground to be an excellent slicer. This thing performed better than any other MagnaCut blade I've tested so far besides my Transparent Knives one, because that one's at 65 Rockwell and it's even thinner with the hollow grind. So that's not really fair to compare this. But for EDC Fixed Blade in MagnaCut, this one has performed far better than any other MagnaCut knife I've tested. I was underwhelmed with MagnaCut until this one and Transparent Knives Reblade. So, do I think it's worth $265? Regardless of how you feel about it, I absolutely, hands down, think this is worth $265. Totally USA made. excellent fit and finish, customization as far as how you want to set up everything, the colors of everything that you want to go with, so you can make it your own. I think it looks nice. It rides excellent in the pocket. The Ulti clip's my favorite method to clip it to me, and it's just a bonus that I love TJ Schwarz designs. So if you're looking for a quality EDC fixed blade that can perform, then look no further. It's a no-brainer for me. I'm thinking about buying a second one just to have pristine, just in case I do anything to destroy this one. Now, he does have a lifetime warranty that covers defects and or premature failure, you know, and all that's a case-by-case basis. You know, if you put this in a center block, in between two center blocks, and twisted it and broke it in half, of course, I'm sure you won't warranty that. But there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.